Think I've got it. I think I did it right.
Perfect.
Okay, well, Matt, welcome, Dykstra, to the F&I Tips with Becky Chernick. And those guys that are new to my channel, I've been providing the very best in finance and insurance training for a long time, and in dealerships throughout the USA and as well as in Canada. And I work with franchise dealers as well as independent dealers. So, yeah, I'm glad that you're able to be with us today. And we are talking about a relevant topic about refi. And Matt is here to get us straight on this. And Matt has also been in automotive retail, has a tremendous amount of retail experience. So, Matt, if you will, share with everyone who you are and what you're all about and what we're going to be talking about as far as refis today, if you don't mind.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me on, Becky. Yeah, like you said, my name is Matthew Dykstra. I am currently the Vice President of Lender and Insurer Relations with WebBuy. We are a digital retailing platform. Recently won the AWA Award for Best Digital Retailing Platform out there, and we're helping dealers really take their digital presence and digital sales ability to the next level. Before that, I spent about 12 years between the jobs of finance director, corporate director, general manager, and platform director. And now I'm doing this today, and I'm excited to be here talking about such a relevant topic in today's world, the topic of refinances, the proper way to go about them, how to do them, and how to make sure you're compliant doing them at the same time.
Matt, it is certainly a pleasure. And everyone, please do me a favor and share. This is being broadcasted on YouTube. This is going on Facebook and LinkedIn Live now. So share away and like away. Okay,
Absolutely.
great. So Matt, certainly glad I picked the right person to be here with me. And we have been talking about this refi for quite a bit and a few other shows. And so we have dealers who say, well, I can't do refis. I don't do refis. We can't do refis, Becky. And then I talk to other dealers and they're saying, oh, we do them all day long. In fact,
Yep.
I think you saw the poll. And I had quite a few respond to that poll, 45, let's say, that responded. And 50-50 for the most part said either I can do them, but I don't want to, or I can do them and I'm really good at it. And the other 50% said, no way. So get us straight on some of this, would you?
Yeah. So for me, in my last auto group that I was with when I was up in Montana, for example, we did refinances all the time. It was one of the most profitable centers of my F&I department. We were one of the lucky states where we didn't have sales tax in Montana. So for us, it was very simple. I reached out to my lenders and said, hey, what are your rules on this? And, a lot of the big lenders, they came back and they would say, oh, I'm sorry, hold on. My just 2-year-old walks in. Give me 1 second, sweetie. I need you to go
This
out.
is what happens when you have children at the house. Do you hear the child? It's always a pleasure. I love children, by the way. I think
Yeah,
that
I'm so sorry about
without
that.
them makes for a tough life. Can you go
Yeah.
ahead, Matt?
Yeah, right. My 2-year-old walks in. She goes, Dad, I know how to do this. Let's go. So what I was saying, so with my F&I department, we didn't have to do sales tax. And we would do refinances all the time. It was actually one of the things I had my F&I managers do on a weekly basis is I'd have them go through Stone Eagle and pull deals that were 18 to 24 months old, where the customer had, an interest rate of between 8 and 12%. I'd be like, let's call these guys, see if they're interested in saving a little bit of money on their payments. And that's all we would do. We would just do a little bit of cold calling, call them, say, hey, rates are so advantageous right now. Would you like to come in and see some potential? Because I had some banks that said yes. Like a lot of my credit unions are like, absolutely. You can do refinances all day. Some of my national lenders said, oh, no, we don't play in that game. So for us, it was a legality thing. We made sure that it was legal with our lenders, that it was legal with the state, and that as a dealership, we were doing right by our customers. We would only charge. Go ahead.
No, well, the thing is, okay, so help us understand. Okay, this is where the confusion is. First of all, if you can do them, let's say you're doing what you're saying. We don't have to charge tax, so it just makes sense. Why not buy the car back? Easy peasy. But then you have to be careful about the lender because not all lenders are equal or will do a refi. So can you explain what lenders do refis or allow you to refi with them?
Yeah. So for me in Montana, most of my national lenders, for example, they wouldn't. Like Bank of America, they said, nope, we don't do refis. US Bank would step in and say, no, we don't do that at a lender level either. Then I had, some places like Mountain America Credit Union. They stepped in, or America First, or Valley Credit Union. I noticed a lot of credit unions, First Interstate Bank, we'd call them and say, hey, what are your rules on refinances? And they'd say, Matt, as long as it's a stock number in your inventory, you can go ahead and do whatever you want with it. It's a retail unit. So for us, what we would do is go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off, but explain that as well. I mean, what does the agreement say, the lender agreement say? So I have had dealers say, well, we can't do this refi, Becky, because it's in our lender agreement. And I'm like, what's in your lender agreement? So would you explain what's in that lender agreement?
Yeah, so most of the lender agreements state that in order to utilize that bank, it has to be a retail unit that you're selling. So that's a big deal with it. So what we did, no matter what credit union we went through or bank we went through, we would actually pay that vehicle off fully from the dealership. We would send in a payoff check. We would put that vehicle into our inventory. It would be assigned a stock number, it'd be totally put into our inventory. Then we would just turn around and sell that vehicle back to the customer for exactly what their payoff was, plus document fee. So the only thing that we associated with it was the doc fee. And I'd always explain to the customer, this is simply the cost of doing business, just like we do right now with doc fees. And 99.9% of the time when that customer sees a payment drop of $40 or $50 on a shorter term or the same amount of term they had left, they go, that's completely fine. You're saving me 40 or 50 bucks. I have no problem paying that additional document fee there. And, there are some states, Becky, where sales tax is such a small amount that the customers don't have any issues with that. For example, South Carolina, where your sales tax caps at $500. A lot of customers aren't going to complain too much about a $500 additional sales tax if you buy that vehicle from them and turn around and sell it back to them, if they're still saving money on the overall rate and their overall payment. Because at the end of the day, that's what a refinance is about for these customers, is saving money. And then you as a dealer have an additional revenue stream that's coming in. What I did with my group is I always had those deals be a product only. So it encouraged my F&I managers to be actively engaging with customers. Because if you put it as a retail unit and all you're getting is $300 or $400 reserve on these deals, no F&I manager is going to want to do that because it's going to hurt their numbers and hurt their penetrations, which hurts their pay plan. But if you tell them, hey, I'm going to count this as a product only deal, then you've got hungry F&I managers that are going out there actively looking for these refinances, knowing that, hey, this isn't going to do anything but help my PVR lift, help the bottom line lift. And in turn, it's going to help our relationship with the general public. People still see dealers as people who are just trying to pull a fast one. But if we're helping customers get better interest rates and better payments, we're kind of changing that mantra of the dealership a little bit within the circle of customers we already have.
Well, I certainly don't disagree with you at all. So the other is I'm just seeing these refi companies. I mean, they're just popping up all over. They're
Yeah, they really
providing
are.
this refi opportunity. So I don't understand why a dealer wouldn't embrace that and realize, well, if we don't figure out something here, other companies will. And that is also market share going out from the dealership control. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, you see it all the time. I mean, look at a firm, for example. A firm just popped up out of nowhere. Upstart just popped up. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
Upstart.
all of
Yeah.
these, Silicon Valley based banks that are just popping up and saying, hey, we're going to go take your customers essentially. So as a dealer, if there's a way that you can protect that market share and keep that consumer under your umbrella, you're strengthening your grip essentially in the community there by offering things along those lines.
And just kind of stepping outside of it. So, like, for example, even if you have to, maybe some dealers don't want to dig in, right?
Yeah.
And maybe have or establish these relationships or that relationship with a credit union that just allows you to do business with them, right? I believe you also had that available to you at another location.
I did. So what I did is I actually reached out to my local and state level credit unions and said, hey, I want to create a program where if customers ask me about refinances, if I can't get it done or can't get something done, I want to be able to refer them to you. So what I did for ease of the customers is told them if, for example, I had a situation where I couldn't get their refinance done, I would pull their full 20-day payoff or 30-day payoff, give them the payoff along with a completely broken down purchase order to go to their bank to show them exactly what numbers they would want to refinance, which gave me the opportunity to try to upsell them product. So I could talk to the consumer and be like, hey, you're currently at, 9% and your payment's 740. I know this credit union based on what I've seen from a soft pull of your credit. I'm huge on soft pulls. Do a quick soft pull on their credit and say, hey, based on this and my relationship with this bank, I see them, typically between 4 and 5%. Then you rerun the numbers for them and show them what their payment would be and say, hey, at 4 or 5%, your payment drops about $20 or $30, including the coverage, or you can drop $50 without the coverage. Which would you prefer? Either way, it's a drop in payment. Either way, I know I'm going to get the reserve from that credit union because I would set up a 1 or 2% flat that's paid monthly back to the dealership based on refinances. But then I took it a step further, Becky, and I also did it on retail deals. If I couldn't get them done with one of my banks, I would do the same thing and send them customers I couldn't get done. So it was a really strong relationship between me and these credit unions because they knew I'm sending them refinance business as well as new business.
So Matt, I'm going to go ahead and put you a little bit on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do that a little bit because we have dealers out here that might be watching this and going, I don't know about doing business with credit unions because that means we are doing business with the, I don't know, the someone that might take business away from us, the mob. It's been told to me before. Now, I've had great relationships with those credit unions. So what do you say to those dealers?
What I say to those dealers is, walk out your front door. Go actually set up a meeting with these credit unions. If you notice that there's a credit union taking a lot of business from you, figure out a way to make your enemy your friend. Figure out a way to have a good relationship with that credit union. Ask them to scratch your back a little bit because consumers ask their credit unions all the time, where should I buy a car? Who do you have a relationship with? We had one of our reps of our local credit union came in all the time saying, hey, they're constantly asking me, where do I buy a car? I bought a car from you guys, so I tell everyone but how do I answer this question? And that's what a lot of these lenders, they think, especially these local credit unions, they're like, well, I bought a car from so-and-so at ABC Motors, so maybe you should go see them. Where if you go in and you have a conversation with these guys, and it's kind of like the back office staff, bring them donuts once a month, go talk to them, remember birthdays, go create and cultivate that relationship with that credit union, make them your friend, figure out a way to create a relationship where they're willing to pay you for business. Because at the end of the day, credit unions, like a dealership, they want more business. So if you send them customers, a lot of times they'll scratch your back and turn around and send them right back to you.
So it's just a matter of digging your heels in and looking at the various options that you have and doing your best to cultivate that relationship with your credit union lender that will allow you to go ahead and send them that customer to refi. Okay, so we have that. And so maybe a dealer who maybe has a high tax rate. There are dealers out there that have this high tax rate where might not necessarily make sense to go ahead and buy the vehicle back, to go ahead and charge the customer 6 to 10% in tax. So this is why I also recommend that with Cherny Consulting, what I do and help with dealers is I help process that. So that way we streamline that process. We don't dealers don't have to mess with it so much. In fact, we process, perfect the title. We assure that the lien is paid out. And we just really uncomplicate it and reduce the headache. Meanwhile, maybe we can sell those additional products to that customer as you would had if you did it in-house. Makes all the sense in the world. But here again, one of the things that I do want you to point out, okay, maybe that you're not going to be able to do, but maybe you're selling another car. Maybe there's a payment difference of $100 or a debt to income call of $100 that customer's walking over. So instead we're saying, well, let's hold that up. Let's stop that from happening. If we don't internalize this, there's still a way. There's still a way to process this refi without all the headaches. And meanwhile, save that customer $100 in payment on their new car, because guess what? These interest rates are going up. They're not going down, and payments have to be more affordable. What do you say about that, Matt?
Yeah, I agree. I think that if you're going to create a process that's going to allow you to ensure that no matter what, you have a game plan, I think that's really when you've elevated yourself to truly be an F&I manager versus just being a producer. At the end of the day, producers just do what's in front of them. Managers go out and they cultivate paths. They cultivate relationships. They find ways to ensure that they can get everything done that they need to, and that they can help that customer no matter which way needs to be done.
So what I want to try to do here, if I can, hopefully, let's see what we've got here. Let me, if I can, put this in the chat. And for those, take a look. This, for dealers that may not have this internalized yet, or maybe may want to consider training up, certainly you can contact me, contact Matt. I'm not trying to add additional work on your plate,
No, you're
but I'm
fine.
sure Matt wouldn't mind helping you guys out there.
Yep.
And so contact Matt either directly to Matt or here on this link. Utilize that link to contact me, and just, if you will, just let me know dealership name, contact person, and phone number, and I'll reach out to you. Matt will reach out to you as well and answer any questions that you may have. So I think we went over a little bit. That was because I didn't have that link already yet. Any last thoughts before we cut out, Matt?
Yeah, just, guys, when we're at the dealership level and, we're in our stores, constantly be thinking about ways to help yourself stand out and ways to help yourself grow. And whether that's reaching out to a local lender, whether that's reading a little bit on compliance, whether that's understanding the rules and regulations for your state, as well as what your dealer principal wants to do with these refinances and helping customers, guys, the more you dig, the more answers you're going to find. The more answers you find, the sharper you become. And when you become sharp, that's when you become lethal in this business. And when you're lethal, you're going to feel good. Customers are going to know it. Managers are going to know it. And there's nothing you're going to do but grow.
Now you know why I invited Matt to come on this F&I Tips with Becky Chernek, because he knows his stuff. He's been there, he's done it, and he's done his homework. And so if in fact we plan on keep growing, right? We have to know what we don't know to really make an impact, right? That sticks.
Absolutely.
You did awesome. Thank you again, Matt. I really appreciate you being here. And guys, make sure, gals, if you have questions on this refi, reach out to Matt. Let me know. I'll be happy to let Matt know and give you your contact information to Matt. If there's anything I can do to streamline this process, I'll be happy to do that too. We're here to help you guys out. Okay. So y'all, thank you. And for being here. We'll talk soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Becky.
Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you again, guys.